Hello everybody, this is Mariana. I'm here to do the vibes inside for you today. It's going to be a new moon reading in the sign of Libra, occurring today on the 25th of September. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome, of course. I read about the self-development of the self. If you have been following my channel, thank you for supporting me. I'm probably the voice of a scapegoat, and if you relate to that idea that you could be that as well, maybe you will find something in these readings. It's very important for me to say that I've decided at some point during my healing journey, I've decided not to be the victim anymore. And the content you will find here will reflect this. Being a scapegoat usually means that we feel weak and we couldn't care for ourselves. We needed something to be there to protect us somehow. And this feeling of weakness or less strong, less good enough, not worthy or whatever is typically very prominent. And it's important for me to say that I have come along a way where I have learned that this is not the case. I'm not weak. I'm not at all weak. It's just this is what I learned. I just made a recent video. The last one I posted is about revealing messages for the scapegoat. I titled it the Autumn Equinox 2022. You can find it and look it up. And this is where I describe a possible theory on how a scapegoat is developed in the first place. But it's important for me to say that the reading that I have here for the new moon in Libra links to that one. So if you haven't seen that one, I would ask you to go back and maybe listen to it, because then you will understand this message better. I feel like what comes in with these colors for this message is a potential. New moons are always about manifesting new. That you allow yourself to think bigger, perhaps think more of yourself, think more confidently about yourself. You can even do a new moon manifestation. You can decide to try to improve something in your life by writing down some manifestations, affirmations, and you can make a ritual and burn it in the fire with the best of intentions, asking for help if you believe in the guidance of angels or personal guides. You can work with other deities, whatever feels right for you. The point is that the new moon in Libra wants to create some kind of balance. A balance inside you, that where there's no balance at the moment maybe, or there's little balance, or there's a need for balance maybe. The equinox reading, I talked about a lot of stuff, but definitely about the mother and the father, the yin and the yang, and the imbalance that could come when we experience a breach in our understanding about the people around us, especially the parents, those very close to us. If there is a breach in their personality and how they act, what they say, what they do, this is where we realize that our human family is not divine. Well, it is, but it doesn't know it. We are all divine, but it's just we have forgotten about it, right? When someone acts violently, it's not divine. It doesn't mean that it necessarily is. In spiritual terms, it's not necessarily bad. In human terms, it's bad. In spiritual terms, it just is. It's a polarity between good and bad. It just is. You can't have good if you don't have bad. You can't have light if you have no darkness, and so on. It just is. But in human terms, violence is bad. We don't like it, right? But still it exists. The point of this is that when we realize that something is not divine anymore, it creates a breach. It creates the feeling of betrayal or disappointment. We become aware of conditional love as opposed to unconditional love. It creates something inside us. I talk about this in the equinox reading, what could possibly happen if you were a small child, you realize something like that. It could create a codependency. You could become very attached to your primal caretakers, and it could explain some of your behavior, especially if you identify as a scapegoat. What I feel like comes in with this new energy that wants to come in with the Libra new moon here is a very positive one, actually. It wants to come in with, I almost want to say, a choice, right? If you choose to work on your confidence, the yellow here, this is solar plexus chakra. If you choose to work on your confidence, your own stability, your own personal power, and this is very difficult for a scapegoat, but if you choose it, again, there's this feeling of like a choice. If you choose yourself and not others, if you choose yourself, if you want to be devoted to your own healing, this is like the sun energy. Here we have the Father again, the sun energy, or even divine Father, if you choose religion here instead of a human person in your life to rely on. If you choose religion, or you choose to invest in yourself, you want to follow some teaching that can bring you somewhere, maybe. If you want to do that, it's all about working on your own confidence, your self-esteem, your own maybe boundaries, the confidence to say yes and no and decide for yourself, freeing yourself from something, right? If you choose to commit yourself to this, there is something underneath that you could that could really benefit you. Orange here is sacred chakra. So this is the womb, right? This is our sexual organs. This is creativity. It's but again, there could be something you still need to work through also with this. Choosing to work on your own confidence, choosing yourself, usually, as opposed to what a scapegoat usually does, they concentrate on others. They make sure others are great. They make sure others are taken care of. They make sure they are great and big and whole, because then they can relax. Then they know they are protected by the whatever, parent or husband or whatever this is, then they can relax. If someone is hurting over here, they can't relax. So a scapegoat is usually very oriented towards the outside world and other people's needs, and they forget about their own. If you choose now to balance this better, that you will reclaim some of your power, you will no longer give the same attention to other people. You work on this. This is a good thing. But it may still come with some challenges. It may come with some of the woundings that you may have encountered at some point that actually created the scapegoat. And if you want a theory on that, go back to the equinox reading and maybe have a look at that. The codependency here is maybe showing up, right? The codependency is maybe showing up. Taking care of your confidence here means that you may need to face something. I gave you a theory. If you listen to the equinox reading, I gave you a theory. But a theory, knowledge, is not the same as conquering the world. It's not the same as, because I know this now, everything is peachy, right? Because I know it, I have become conscious about something that potentially could be in your story, be in your life. Maybe you have faced some of that. Please only take what resonates from my stories here, right? I'm just sharing something that I figured out about me, my own personal story, and sometimes, and often actually, I get like a broader perspective. This is not just about me. It's just, sometimes it has nothing to do with me. But and I believe scapegoats are primarily those that watch my readings. If you relate to that term and the story behind it, then you may find something here that resonates, and just only take what resonates and leave the rest, right? The point is that if the confidence has been like, a scapegoat usually has a problem with showing great confidence. Because confidence means that you own your own free power. You own your power. It's embedded in you. It's stored in you. It's there somehow. It's there somehow. And usually a scapegoat doesn't have this. It's not there. It's not embedded. It's not inside. It's usually looked for on the outside. A scapegoat is very good at actually spotting someone who has confidence and lean upon them, right? But someone else's goal may not be yours, right? Someone else's power is not yours. And it means you live in the shadow of someone else. This is developing your own one. But it may still come with some challenges here. We have several planets retrograding at the moment, I believe. Mercury still in the end phase of retrograde. I believe we have Uranus, Saturn, also retrograding. Retrogrades means that it's usually a time where we become a little more thoughtful. It can be a time where we are not as social, not as active. It could be a time where we reflect more about stuff. Sometimes stuff will come up from the past. We get into situations with people where suddenly you find yourself fighting for something. And you realize, but I have been here before, right? I have seen this before. I've been standing in the exact same position, maybe not with the same people, but the point is I'm still fighting for my right, or I'm trying to. But maybe I feel overwhelmed and I can't really stand up for myself. So if you are a scapegoat working on your confidence, I wouldn't say you should expect it, but just know that it's a time where if you try to manifest new and bigger for yourself, reclaiming your power here, that is a strong manifestation, affirmation. I am reclaiming my power. So if you write that down, right? Always in present tense, I am or I have. I have reclaimed my power. I am strong. I am greatness. I am rich. I am all this stuff that a scapegoat usually doesn't at all identify with. But when you work on this and you keep doing this, every year there's a new opportunity, right? The new moon energy usually works 6 months until you have the full moon of Libra. The full moon indicates endings, so we see how far you got, right? It's all as a continuous cycle of growth potential for us. This new moon, I really feel like wants to balance something. It wants you to look at yourself. We all have feminine and masculine energies in us. Usually the feminine or the masculine is more prominent in either of us. We know that, right? Some are more fierce, some are warriors, right? And some are more gentle, right? We are a complex combination of these energies here. Sometimes in astrology you can even see it. You can look at the planets and you can see how they are positioned in what houses and what zodiac sign as well. Right? So if you, let's say you have your sun in Cancer, as I have, sun is confidence, right? This is who you are, your personality. But if your sun is in Cancer, which is a very sensitive, very intuitive, very sometimes psychically gifted sign, accommodating, caring, and so on, the way the sun is shown to the world doesn't have the same effect as if the sun is in Leo, which is like a very strong masculine fire sign. So how are you could say your qualities, personality qualities, how are they affected? Astrology can be a tool to figure this out, right? Not necessarily to change you, but to figure out, where is my strength? This can also be what this is. Where is my sun? And sometimes the sun is overshined by an ascendant, the ascendant in your birth chart. So the ascendant is usually, you could say, a personality that we develop due to what we have experienced. My ascendant is Capricorn, which is the exact opposite of Cancer. Very earthy, very grounded, very like to the point, very work focused, very like always keeping an end goal in your mind's eye, never waver from it. So keeping a straight line towards something, right? That's very Capricorn-like. Very endurant. Capricorn season is usually, at least in the upper hemisphere, the darkest time of the year. It's feminine. It's very like intuitive. Through the darkness, you figure something, you work through something, right? Capricorn is depicted as a devil energy in tarot. There can be toxicity and monsters in the darkness and everything luring here, right? And you have to keep your mind straight focused on something. Using the intuition, because there's no daylight there, or only little daylight. So you have to rely very much on your senses, on your intuition, where you're going, right? That would be Capricorn. Capricorn can be aloof, can be withdrawn, not very open, not very chatty and everything. They can usually be more closed off somehow, which is not Cancer energy, right? But I had to develop this due to some of the stuff that I experienced. So the ascendant is usually the explanation why you can't show up with your sun sign. Sometimes the sun sign and the ascendant is the same. Great. You don't have a mask. But usually people have a diversity of the sun sign and the ascendant. The ascendant can be a protector. So the ascendant is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that happened. It was developed. It's an extra card to play, you could say. We can even say that this, right, a phase of codependency or a phase of strength is covering something else here, right? It's covering something else. You take that how it resonates. But what I get from the colors today is actually that the more you work on your confidence towards something, the more something could show up for you. Just to, are you sure? Retrogrades are usually also like that. They ask us, are you sure you've dealt with this? Are you sure you have looked at this? Are you sure this is right for you? Right, so that's also part of the retrogrades. It's sometimes stuff comes up again. You meet the same people. Just to remind you, are you sure you've actually figured this out? Are you sure you have overcome this? Or even, as I said, I gave you some knowledge, a theory with the autumn equinox. Maybe it makes sense for you. Maybe only some of it does. But if it somehow resonated, the theory, so the words, the knowledge, is just one thing. You can do something about it in your brain. But what about your emotional body? Your emotional body carries the survival experience, the fear, the threat. So the brain knowledge can be healing in itself, but it has to be linked with what your body tells you. It has to be interpreted through your body as well. Or you could say that your mind now needs to calm your body if some kind of anxiety comes up here. Maybe you use your brain now to calm it down. Tell it it's all right. I got this, right? I know now. I know something now. I'm wiser. I know something. I can make a different decision. I can go in another direction. I have a free choice. I choose a free choice. I can go in another direction. I don't have to engage, right? And maybe other people don't like it. Maybe they show you something. Maybe they show you some kind of offense or something. But you do you, right? You do what's right for you. If they have something to say that would pull you back in some kind of like I'm disappointed in you. I thought you would do different. I expected more of you, or so on. It has to do with them. Has nothing to do with you. You just changed your behavior, and now they're suddenly reacting. They expected something else from you. But just have this understanding that when you try to change something in your life, something will come up. But this can also be a very positive thing, that the more you focus on it, the more of your own creativity comes forward. The more of your own free, like, it could be the feeling of my body is free. I can sense again. I can be sensual. I can be, I don't know, sexually active again. I suddenly feel so different, right? So just take that how it resonates. But these two, I feel like for the upcoming new moon, at least in my readings, there could be something about this. These are also very harvest-like colors, right? Orange and yellow. It's this that both could be present, right? Both could be present at the same time, and it's still a balance. Balancing some old with new, or balancing something new that suddenly creates something, or it shows you something. It allows you maybe even to have some kind of freedom, or something you choose something. That could be I get a feeling of experimentation here. Putting yourself in new situations, maybe taking a chance, being a bit bold maybe here as well. Yeah, that's what I feel like. So let's have a look. I'm for the yellow here. I'm now taking the Iris Oracle, because Iris is very much like queen-like, right? This is an Empress energy. So resourceful, skilled, confident one here. So let's have a look what the yellow here would like us to maybe look at, or have in mind. It could be something about shining, that you shine somehow, right? You let someone see your shine, maybe, or I don't know, something like that. So I get cartouche, divine names of power. Cartouche. I'm still quite new with these cards, so I'm just kind of divine names of power. I get the feeling of like get acquainted maybe with what the qualities are of divine names of power. So as I just said with like Isis, right? She, or when we say divine, you could say we could say any kind of deity. If I say Jesus, right? Or if I say Mary Magdalene, or I say Kuan Yin, if I say Buddha, or Krishna, or Muhammad, whatever divine name here. I get almost a feeling of the scripture on the wall. It's something like a read maybe about divine names of power here. So, the power you wanna, it's almost like, I wouldn't say listen to or identify with human power. This is not it. It's the divine thing, right? It's the divine. Why was Jesus so loved or appreciated? He was also feared, right? He was hunted down, eventually caught, and then he was crucified. But why do we still talk about Jesus? Why do we talk about Buddha? Why do we talk about Krishna? Why do we talk about Kuan Yin, or the Mother God, the Father God? Whatever makes sense for you, right? It's something like maybe reading the words of, I want to say, I don't know if it's Bibles, but get acquainted with what it means to have divine power. What characterizes those who have divine power? Especially if you are developing your own confidence here. Again, maybe there's a sense of remember grace, I feel. Remember the grace of the divine. Or maybe mercy as well. Remember words like that. Because it's easy if, especially if this one is built out of a wound. So if we build an anger or something, we build confidence upon anger that comes from a wound. We could go into aggression, frustration, hate, bitterness, and we move forward with this kind of fire energy. I get almost a feeling that this remember something else. Remember divine grace. Remember forgiveness, right? Remember mercy, something like that. So when you move forward here in developing your power, remember some of this also. Because if you build directly upon a wound, it's, or at least I want to say, remember it and choose. I can't tell you what to do, right? You do have free choice. It's just I felt this in myself. At some point, I was very angry with my father. I was very angry with my ex-husband. I was angry with friends in my life. And maybe I was also angry with myself because I have been holding on to being the weak one for a very long time. It became my identity. And kind of changing that identity is difficult. So I went through a lot of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between the wounds and then building, and wounds and building and shedding and so on. It is still a process, has been a process of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So and in that process I had to decide, do I want to stay angry and resentful? Do I want to break with these people? Do I want to just shove them out the door? because I learned something in the process, right? I learned something about human development. I learned something about, as I just said, the theory I presented with the enslavement that can happen if you, as a scapegoat, experience the breach. The breach that actually exactly tells us that all human beings are not divine. They don't have divine behavior. They are wounded, right? That we are wounded, or most of us are. But that's just my point of view. So what does it mean to, if I build this strength upon my wound and I haven't cleared it, I'm still angry, I'm still resentful, I'm still bitter, who am I becoming then? Am I now becoming the one who punished me, or who taught me to be a scapegoat, if I let my anger out in the face of someone else? Maybe even someone innocent. What would that make me be then? That's why I feel like this is here. It's something like be mindful of whether you create your power upon, or do you just repeat the story, but with reversed characters, or reversed. Now you are the one who could do something, right? To someone else who may be innocent or even weaker or whatever. Now you could be that one. So building that confidence, I almost say, comes with a responsibility, right? Especially if you know where you come from. When you know where you come from and how awful that was. Balancing this with more confidence, so that you balance out your scale. It comes with a responsibility of I almost want to say, doing this right. Then when you say something, when you present this, maybe it should be with a sense of divine power. The idea that you're presenting you're presenting your no, or your boundaries, your strength. You present your strength with grace, instead of with rage or bitterness and so on. You get my point? That's what I feel like. At the bottom of the deck, I get the pyramid of the light. Step your vibration deeper into love. Yeah, remember love here, so that your fire is not taken over, right? Remember the love. This is underlying energy, so this is what keeps it. So what you're building something here, some kind of power, confidence, self-esteem, boundaries. And as long as you do that with the divine names of power in mind, with love, right? Step your vibration deeper into love. This is where you ascend. Your energy is ascending. It's becoming quicker. It's becoming lighter. So if you choose love, if you choose to trust, if you choose grace, if you choose mercy, or you choose forgiveness, pyramid of light, there's definitely something about stepping the vibration deeper into love. This is it's like, don't forget the love. While you're doing this, don't forget the love, right? the love for yourself, but I want to say maybe also love for those around you, right? Because you know what it means to be the scapegoat, or to be someone who has been under a lot of pressure. So building fire, you could say, or building strength, building confidence, personal power, standing straight, right? Not being knocked over, reclaim your space in the room. To do that requires a sense of bravery, a sense of courage. And as a scapegoat, usually you don't have much of that. So it's a big step. And I just feel like it's asking of us, or you, or me, or whoever this resonates with, it's asking us to remember the grace. Remember where you come from, maybe, right? So when you develop this, just remember this. Not dive into it, not get lost in it. Just remember then when you build this, who do you want to become? What kind of person do you want to become here? Do you have a divine idol, you would say? Is there someone here that you would like to look like, right? Isis is known as the Great Mother, in Egyptian mythology. She's the Great Mother. She's very caring, very loving, very considerate, very embracing, very caring. I did say that, didn't I? But she's also quite fierce. That is, so if someone crosses her line, or as it happened, her beloved Osiris was killed, she now becomes a queen of fire. She becomes so fierce that she scatters the entire Egypt to find the pieces of Osiris, putting him back together and resurrect him. That is how powerful she is also, besides being the great good mother, with all those qualities. And this is where she is balancing, right? She has both elements in her. She can be fierce, bold, passionate, right? She wants something done, then she does it. But she can also be very caring, loving, a beautiful mother. She can be everyone's mother, the one we want, right? That is how we see the balance of her, that she can, you shouldn't double cross her, right? But at the same time, if you work with her, you will find that she actually gives a lot. She's very giving, right? So I get the feeling of working with fire energy comes with the challenge of actually balancing it. This should maybe not be too fast. I don't know, but I just get the feeling of, like, at least in my case, I need to balance back and forth, because I could have become revengeful. I'm not a revengeful person, but some of the stuff I realized, I never really thought about revenge. It just made me sad. I remember it made me very sad. I never really got revengeful. It's kind of not in my genes, I think, to be revengeful like that. And hateful also, that these are very energy draining vibrations to be in. I had to handle the sadness, and then moving forward with hope, right, and grace and But that was my journey, right? It's just, I feel like when it comes up like a divine names of power, I could read from the book here, but it's just, I get the feeling of like just, it could even be like, I said write the names on the wall here. It could be that you write down who you want to become. That could be the affirmations as well, right? And maybe you have in mind divine names of power here, and remember how they yield power, because power is, yeah, very powerful, right? When you have it, it's very powerful. But in my book, power always comes with a lot of responsibility. It's how you yield it. If someone is a good leader or a bad leader, in human terms, what defines the good leader? What defines the bad leader? That's in human terms. Here we talk about divine power. Right? So you choose maybe someone. Maybe you choose an idol. And you read about them. You figure out why were they so worshipped, maybe. Why were they so, what defined them somehow? So this card, Cartouche. Lady Isis initiates you now into her special mysteries, the use of sacred intonations. The words that you speak are rapidly gaining power. To benefit from this power, rather than be undermined or held back by it, practice thoughtful speech and clear your heart of old unforgiveness, which can poison your words unintentionally. As your heart grows in purity, you will be able to speak with a spiritual authority, and what you speak of will come into being more swiftly and obviously. Isis is initiating you as a master healer in her sacred tradition of divine names of power. So incantations that has to do with this cartouche card. I call upon Isis who loves me unconditionally. Teach me to speak powerfully, from a place of love and peace sublime. Beyond time and space my words will shine, like diamonds with beauty and strength immense. They bring divine truth and cut through pretense. Beloved Isis, initiate me into your words of power. Your healing grace descends upon me as a heavenly shower. There's another one here. This can be beneficial as well. It says incantation. You can say this incantation to bless your words and undo damage that you may have unintentionally done with your words and actions in the past. Well, we may all have done that, right? Grace of sweet Lady Isis, cleanse me now of karmic crisis, of words said in haste, their effect and course. Help the spiritual momentum now pause. Negative repercussions now cease. All involved are filled with peace. Your names of power and the pain dissolve unhappiness, bitterness, and strain, creating new webs of light and healing. Divine unconditional love now revealing. Yeah. There's definitely something about something divine needing to come into existence, maybe in our world as well. I talked about a new moon could represent a start of a balancing wave in all of us on earth, where we have to come back to love, what really matters, what really is important for us. So we will see if that is the case. And here now you have the opportunity, if you scroll back the video, to listen to some of these incantations. You can decide if you want to, maybe with a ritual, with new manifestations, you want to heal maybe families dispute or hate or bitterness or something, jealousy or whatever within a situation. Something that has been expressed can be, with the help of Isis, can be well, changed at least, or neutralized. But again, remember that it has to come from a place of love. It has to come from a place where you really feel it, right? You feel that it's needed, you feel it's time. And you are remorseful maybe. You do want to change the dynamic in some situation. Not from a selfish, not from a selfish point of view, right? It should come from a different place. It's very interesting that we have a card here that talks about stepping your vibration deeper into love. And here we talk about power, right? So love and power, and how this can be somehow, I have death cards showing up here. So there's something that needs to stop or die or be rebirthed. There is definitely a tendency of something that is changing here. I believe it's like a cycle that is kind of changing. It's like whatever you may have experienced in this cycle, in this dynamic, whatever dynamic this is, it's like it has come to an end. There's not more to be harvested from this. It's time to let it die somehow and start something new. Just making sure that the new you try to manifest is not made of feelings of disappointment and rage or bitterness or something. As we just heard with the cartouche card, your words have vibration behind it. So you can either manifest new, or you can attract more of what you're sending out there, especially if it holds like vibrations of sadness or regret, if it has anger in it, or resentment or something like that. So be mindful about your words at this time. And of course, I take this into account as well for myself. Yeah, this is what I get. Okay. Underlying energy here, I get the Ten of Pentacles. So this is a card of, to me, it's a card of abundance. It's a card of continuous flow of whatever you need. 10 is like completion, right? You have come to a point of completion where you have everything you need. Everything you want, everything you need. I even see this as the treasure finally opening maybe, and now it's like you have endless access to something. Or at least it's the road towards something that is more, I want to say. It's like, as I said, the divine wants to, it's underlying energy. So this is, it's an energy that is moving some of this. So this talks about also getting out of lack mentality. You could say finally getting to somewhere else where there's so much more. Pentacles are usually tangibles, right? So it's something you can touch. It could be matter, like stuff, things in your life. It's, well, the bed you sleep in, the car you drive, it's the house you live in, it's the money in the bank, and so on. It's tangible. That's Pentacles. But I want to say, sometimes I see education also as Pentacles, because it the time and the effort you put into something is potentially eventually over time the investment you made in it is now showing a result. You get the job you want, or you have been investing in something for a long time to grow smarter, and when you do that, you become more desirable maybe in the work field, and then you actually get to a different point in your life, right? So maybe you had an investment in something, and it's now, it's like maybe the investment pays off here somehow. It could be someone offering something to you. As I said, it could be the feeling that the divine is suddenly or wanting to bring something to you. But in order for you to receive this or to get this, you have to be ready for it, right? You have to be the right vibration. The right vibration is maybe to have a confidence here. It's difficult to attract this into your life if you have lack mentality, right? Okay, let's have a look here. I'm starting with the left card, Three of Cups. And I get the feeling like 3 is a crowd. There's one too many. One is pouring in more than the other, maybe. One is adding like 2 cups almost in a situation, and one is only adding 1. Could be that there's a 3-party situation. We could talk about festivity, partying, drinking too much maybe. Partying, going out to find love, right? To hook up with someone, hoping to find love. Even the feeling of casual love. We see like 2 cups that pour something in, and this one is now like it overflows. We could even talk about a situation where we have, let's say this is a child and they receive something from a mother, they receive something from a father, but it's almost like it can't really be sustained in the cup. If that's the case, I want to say, let's say this is a love from a mother, love from a father, and you are the one here. Love from a divine mother, love from a divine father, and this is you. In that case, I want to say it's almost like you may feel a heart opening, maybe. It could be the feeling of a spiritual thing here, that from one day to another, it's like something happens, that you suddenly feel this exploding, very emotional experience in your heart area, right? That is suddenly clearing up something, because you suddenly you're able to receive something now. You're able to receive something. But it may be difficult to process. If you have had a closed off heart chakra to protect yourself, now it's like it to open it up and suddenly have this incoming feeling of love, unconditional love from the divine, maybe. It's almost like your heart even can't comprehend it. It could be the feeling it's too much, that you need to take it step by step or something like that. It could be that people share something with you. They appreciate something, right? They send you love, they send you care, they send you blessings, but it's almost like it's too much somehow. I get the feeling of like, I don't get much from this card actually. It feels a bit hollow. And I think it's because you don't know how to take it in. Or that, let's say this represents parents, right? That, well, it seems like they are shedding love on you, but actually it pours beside the cup. Nothing is really getting into the cup. That even if they try, it's like it doesn't enter the cup. Either because it feels hollow, it doesn't feel real, or why do I get this feeling of hollow? Something is hollow. It feels hollow. And I'm drawn to the idea that the people here, they all wear masks. There's something. This could talk about a gathering where you gather together with other people, and you know, like they may share you, like you could visit your parents at home, maybe, right? And then you get inside the home, and they greet you, smiling and looking great and everything. It looks nice enough maybe, right? For an outsider, this would look great, or it would look caring and nice maybe. But it's almost like you know better. It's like you're not allowing it in. Or you're suddenly seeing it through other eyes, like how hollow this is, or how mask based this is. It could even be this idea that you are in a process where you're deciphering who is actually pouring love into my cup and who is just pretending. In a group situation. Like, who is, it could be something like you are deciphering people in your surroundings, your family, your friends, your co-workers. You're kind of figuring out who is actually investing in me and who is actually just pretending. Could be something like that. But there is this feeling of something hollow, that maybe actually realizing how hollow most of your connections have been, maybe. It comes across as, again, look at how they're dancing here, and it looks very festive. It looks very and decorative. They're quite beautiful dancers, right? They have how everything is looking quite I don't want to say superficial, but to a certain point they are dressed up, right? They're dressed up. It's almost, it comes across a little bit like a masquerade, like my love life has been a masquerade, like I am hollow. Like I've been attending all these situations with people. They may have looked great. I may have looked great. I may have dressed up. They may have dressed up. We all are so neat and tidy. And beautiful, right? We all invest in our beauty somehow. Or we invest in grooming ourselves to look our best, but there's a hollowness to this masquerade somehow. That's what I get, actually, something like that. It's also the mix of the colors, right? Yellow and red here, root chakra. These are the primal first attachments that we make if something happened here. As I talked about in the equinox reading, if something happened here, it could influence your confidence. It could even influence your decisions in life. Blue is typically something about identity, perception, communication, choices, word choice, social construct, how we see the world, how we see others. So how we let ourselves become influenced. If something happened here, it influenced your confidence, your willpower. It also influenced your choices. So how this somehow has affected you. So if this is good, it probably also gave you a very good sense of confidence, and it definitely had an influence on your choices. So this is like important stuff to realize, maybe. Maybe also realizing that because of something here, I am now dealing with this, whatever this is. And the two here are not always agreeing. This could be mind-oriented, and this could be more, solar plexus-oriented. Lack of confidence or confidence, right? Willpower to go and get what you want. Then you make the choices to do so. If you don't have the confidence, you don't make the choices. You procrastinate, maybe. So there's something about putting love maybe into healing this, putting love into healing this, and also putting love into healing this, right? That all elements need to be cared for, because you realize something. A masquerade, perhaps. Even a masquerade you have made yourself, that you have been also wearing the mask, like everyone else. So changing that picture, you need to invest differently, right? Okay, something like that. Because there's a mix of like the colors, the blue, right, and the orange and the yellow, and it's like it's all a mix of all of this together. So when your mind understands something that comes from the subconscious here, deeply layered subconscious hidden traumas, maybe you can change something. It may not, but it's a combination. You need all three to understand your background. Maybe you also need to understand it, maybe to make the changes needed, right? Something like that. Six of Pentacles. Yeah, Six of Pentacles is a card of balance. I don't know if you can see it here, but he stands with like the scale here. It talks about equal give and take. It talks about equal responsibilities, maybe equal weight of maybe the feminine energy, equal weight of the masculine energy. It's time that maybe this is balanced better or understood better. How we make use of our energies, right? The masculine energy has been favored for a very long time, that we could become these work zombies, right? That we all do the same, that we all somehow are equal, in the sense that the expectations towards us are equal. If I and someone else become a worker in a factory, the expectation of me and someone else are the same. Even though I may be more sensitive, even though I may need different, maybe I'm more sensitive to noise or something like that, but that is not taken into account, right? If someone can work harder, longer, I'm supposed to follow, even if I'm more feminine. Do you get my point? It's like there could be this, it's time to become more real about this, that we have to understand that we are not the same. We're not the same. Right? And balance is, again, some men are very sensitive, right? Why should they, just because they're men, why should they become soldiers? If it hurts them, right? If they get a post-traumatic stress because it's too much for them, it's too overwhelming. Why should women who are mostly masculine and fiery and passionate and very strong and solid in their foundation. Why should they be diminished to become housewives? It's like we need to see with different eyes here, right? We need to understand our own energy better. It's like there is something about a balancing that wants to come. But again, I feel like the balancing from maybe understanding some kind of masquerade here, some kind of hollowness, and how to heal this somehow. It takes steps to do so, to get it right, I think. It takes steps in each of us and in society as a whole, in communities, in families as a whole. But it's time, I think. If we figure this out, I feel like that's the way, right? We need to go to have a more fulfilled life, right? A more fulfilled life with what it is that we truly want in our lives. What fits us as workers, maybe. What fits me? What fits you? And the role models or the gender roles of being a man and a woman is not necessarily enough. We need to look deeper, right? We need to know more to figure out, well, this idea of power, right? How do we, even the balance between power and love here. Power, we could talk about masculine energy. Love, we could talk about feminine energy. So like the balancing of this is, and doing it right, doing it right. At least I want to say, in your own life, you figure out what's right for you, right? As I'm trying to do. I listen less and less to what other people tell me, and like these gurus online. I can listen to them sometimes, but only if I feel like it resonates for me. If it doesn't resonate, I'm not listening. Like it's just not that's not how I'm supposed to find my free will or get my confidence back. It has to somehow feel right to me. I also see how the hands here are kind of grabbing towards the pentacles here. It tells me a little bit about how people want more and more. People are always grabbing towards the money, right? They will keep grabbing. The more you give them, the more you produce, maybe, they will keep grabbing. So the one standing with the scales here has to be considerate about how much he puts out here, maybe. But I said something about in the equinox reading. I said something about minimalism. This could even talk about someone is, every pentacle he has here or in this treasure has been very detailedly weighed. Everything that is in this box has considerably been weighed and given a yes or a no, right? If it's in the treasure box, this is a keeper. Everything else is a give. This is something you give to charity, or you decide that I want to share this with others. I keep what is right for me, what is quality for me, what balances out my life perfectly. Here we also talk about work. Maybe you've been working too much, right? Now you give some of these work stuff to others. Maybe you decide to have part-time job, if you can. And if you get a part-time job, maybe you need to find another place to live because you earn less money. But it's a choice, right? Because the heavier workload is actually stressing you out. So this is also where we ask ourselves, what kind of life do you want? Many people would say, yeah, but I don't have a choice. Oh yeah, you have a choice. At least in the Western world, you do have a choice. You can live somewhere else. You can cut down your expenses. You can do that, but it's a choice, right? Maybe you don't want to do that. Well, then you keep on doing what you do, but you probably will still be stressed out then. Always hunting the money. This is what I feel like. It's like the new moon energy wants us combined with the equinox. I feel like they link together as peas and pies. They link together. They are only a few days apart. They link together with a message of we need another world balance here. We need another world balance. It has been masculine for a very long time. We need more feminine. So what you choose to put in your box is because you have decided it's worth it. You only take this tangible stuff with you. This is like your treasure box. Everything else tangible is not important to you. You've decided what is most important. That's kind of the minimalistic thing. You take everything you have in your house and you look at every item and you decide, is this something I want to keep? Have I used it the last 5 years? Or what is it actually? I'm not quite sure. You know, like you take every item. Does this make me happy? Do I feel lighter? Do I feel better with it? Maybe I don't. Well, then you take it somewhere else. So what about this one then? What about this one? Right, you take every item, everything you have. This one, right? Does it make me feel better? Or just worse or indifferent? And that would be the mineralistic attitude that you go for. Do I like it? How does it make me feel? The functionality of it. And how often do I actually use this? Maybe it has been years since I've used it last time. It's obviously not a priority for me then, right? Something like that. Really weighing out what means something, what is of importance and what is not. And then this comes as an underlying energy here, Eight of Wands. This is Eight of Wands usually talks about back and forth communication, passionate back and forth communication here. And yeah, you probably need that back and forth. I said that, or I have been going back and forth here, in my own healing. Back and forth communication here. We could even say that the Three of Cups could be people that are quite festive and fun, perhaps, but they are never really invested. They are quite hollow. Or they don't show you that they are invested somehow, right? They are just, it's just a masquerade. They are just having fun. They are never really truthful. And maybe you're looking for a different balance. And then the Eight of Wands here would be passionate. Passionate doesn't mean that it's always sexual or something. It could be of an eagerness to convey a message, right? Maybe you want to tell someone here how hollow they are, or how masquerade this total kind of relationship you've had with them, right? Maybe you want to tell them that you don't want to be part of this. Maybe you tell them you expect more of them. Maybe you need another balance, right? Something is not fair, or it has been fair. It has not been fair, right? But it could also be that you that this is within you, that this talks about practical work stuff, being productive. This is when you work and get your money right, that you're balancing this out still. Maybe you do get a part-time job, but the reason why you do it is because the many work hours stress you out. What you actually need is doing something hollow, something fun, something, something that just makes your heart happy, right? Maybe you need to go have a party. Maybe you need to get, well, maybe not drunk, but get yourself in a good mood, in a loose, good mood here, in a lightness. Maybe you have to go dancing, right? Maybe you have to do something. I said hollow, but it could be hollow in the sense that it's not tangible. It's not creating money. This is not creating money. In that way, it's hollow. It's for the heart. You do this for the heart, for the joy of your spirit, right? But it's hollow. It's not contributing to your treasure box here. But then it does. In a monetary sense, it may not. But it's balancing out your life better, right? The overworked, stressed feeling you may have had here, giving up some of the hours, giving some of the hours to other people, and you work less. You now have time to do something else here. What do you want to do with that spare time? What would be fun? What would be light? What would make your heart open or feel lighter? You see how they're flowing in the air here. How could what would enchant your heart? Maybe what would be magic in your life? What would be something like that? Maybe you need to go to see a ballet, or maybe you want to go hear a musical, right? Maybe you want to go and see Cirque du Soleil, where they are doing all this acrobatic in the air, right? I don't know, but you do something for the heart, but something that is, or for the spirit, right? You do something fun and exciting for the spirit, but it's hollow in the terms of money. This is matter, masculine. This is feminine, lightness in the air. It's here and now, where this can be long-term money investment. So there could be this balance of yin and yang as well. What makes your heart overflow? Not something, well, not hollow in the sense that you get nothing out of it, that you don't feel excited about it. This is where you get moved, maybe. It could be an opera, right? Maybe you get emotionally moved by something. It's to be emotionally moved is not hollow, but it's hollow as opposed to something tangible here. This is not something you can, as I said in the equinox reading, you can't freeze a hug in time. You can't, the emotion that moves you, usually it moves you only in that moment. You know, like watching a movie. You watch a movie and the first time you see it, your heart just opens and flows because it's so beautiful, right? The second time you see it, it's not quite the same. You may still be moved by it, but it's not quite the same. It's like there is an instant reaction in the current moment when you get truly emotionally moved by something, where your heart overflows, where it touches something deeply inside you. But it cannot be it doesn't sustain itself like money does in the bank, right? The money, you can take it up another day and still feel it. If you haven't spent it, it's still there. You can still open the treasure and look at the tangible stuff here. You can touch it, right? It's still there. Even a week after, or a month, or a year after, it's still there. But this you cannot keep. It's in the moment. But even if it's in the moment, as I also said in the equinox reading, you can't make a hug tangible. Or even your first kiss with someone. You can't go back and touch it, right? You can't go back and have that exact feeling again. It's in the moment, but it's something that evaporates. And then suddenly the experience is gone. You can look at a photo of the person and you can take the photo, the matter, something you can touch, right? You can look at the photo of the person and you can have your memories come back, right? But memories are also something that only exists in your head. You can't show the memories to someone. You can talk about it, you can tell people about it, but it's not the same as being there. Being there in that moment, feeling exactly like you do, it's only happening within you here. But this is not, it's like, what you may need is a balance between the work you have done. Maybe you need to do less of that work, right? Productive, tangible work. And you need to be free. You need to flow more. You need to be moved more, right? You need to let yourself be moved by life, maybe. You need to engage more, maybe. But you figure out what is worth engaging in, right? But there could be this like back and forth communication inside you. It could also be with, let's say, it could be with a workplace, right? Maybe you decide that I need to change my job. I need less hours, or I'm prepared for a lower salary, but I need fresh air. I need to move to the countryside. I can't live in the city anymore. It stresses me out. Or I don't feel happy. I lost my glow, right? I lost my motivation for this job. I lost, it's like I need something else to balance my life out here. And therefore you may need like some communication here, back and forth, maybe with an employer, maybe with yourself here, something about how do I balance this out? If I want less hours and I want to live outside the city. Okay, the employer may say, okay, we try to figure out how to do that then. How can we accommodate each other? Or how can we, how is that possible to do that, right? And it can be like a back and forth negotiation or back and forth talk that you have with someone or you have with yourself. It can be that you, as I said in the beginning, maybe you want to call someone out here. How the connection you've had with them was a masquerade. How you see how hollow it was, how indifferent it was. How everything was based on the as I said, the traumas or the wounds you may still hold in your root chakra, sacral chakra, and how it has affected your confidence and how it also has affected your choices. Maybe you want to call someone out. How this has been a masquerade, how you have been inauthentic, but they have also been. Take that how it resonates, but it's definitely something about this needs to stop, perhaps. I want something else from you. I want something equal. I want a better relationship. I don't want a hollow one. If you can't honor that, if you don't want to do that with me, then I concentrate on my own, right? I concentrate to collect balance in my life, right? Everything that I put in here, I have decided for. I have decided whether it's worth investing in it, right? So the one that I collect here are those that are worth investing in. I want to put the work in this because I have chosen to. But again, there's this combination between power and love, right? Make sure what you do here is balanced. That's what I feel like. Just when you make your choices, what you put forth here is, it's important that you, again, these are wands energy, fire energy here, passionate back and forth communication, but it can also be rageful, it can be angry, right? So make sure you bring forth the right feeling to this. It can be excitement, it can be bold, right? It can be aggressive. So to just make sure what our intentions are here, what feelings are behind those wands energy here. That's also what I feel like the cartouche card said, right? That be mindful about what kind of investment, what kind of feelings do you put into this, your intentions with it. Because it's going to what you're going to manifest will what you're going to manifest is it's a replica of the vibrational energy that's in here, I want to say. Can I have a card here from the Eyes of the Soul? Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle here. Just it's just the feeling of, have I gotten to the core of something here? Have I figured this out right? There's again this, like the colors here, right, of orange, yellow and blue, even green here for the heart chakra, but there is something about like the rainbow colors, or at least part of them, that I said here we have, well, that's the difference actually, right? Here we have blue, orange and yellow. Here we have blue, orange, yellow and green. So green represents heart chakra. So maybe that's the again underlying, under, this card is under these, right? That underlying, just remember, as I said, the grace, maybe. Remember the love, remember, why are you saying this? If you are confronting someone here, why are you doing it? What do you really want to achieve? The green is also earthy, right? It's practical, earthy, heart matter. So I have the distinction between the heart chakra can be represented with rosy color and green color. For me, the rosy color it represents like the crush, the rainbow, the unicorn, the rose-colored glasses, where everything is peachy and almost divine with a person. The green color, for me, represents more the day-to-day maintenance, you could say, of a relationship or of a connection. So you have to check in, right? You have to make sure that you are not ghosting someone, right? You are, if you choose to invest in someone, well, you let them know that you are invested. You check in. You call them. You give them. You tell them, right, that you are there. You maybe not every day, but like having a continuous relationship means that you would like to have a contact with them. It's a day-to-day thing. It's a thing that maybe in the relationships you've had, it could have been fun. It could have been fiery. It could have been passionate. It could have been a lot of drinking, but maybe you are now asking a little more, right? You are asking for like true friendship here. You want a different investment. Maybe you want to take it a step up. Maybe you want to become engaged with someone, right? Maybe you want to move in with someone, right? There could be something like sharing, like the apartment. Now you have to balance this, right? Balance, where are your stuff going? Where's my stuff going? And now it's maybe not yours or mine. Maybe we have one. It's one, right? It's not yours. It's not mine. It's one. We have this together, right? It could be that feeling also that it's time to maybe like step up a bit. That it's no longer casual. It's no longer hollow, as I said, or superficial. It becomes something more, or at least maybe you require more in the relationships you have. Maybe not moving in with them, but like they check in. They take responsibility also, that you that they are not just playing around with your heart, right? That they actually invest in this, that they actually take this serious, that they that you put investment into this and you're asking them to do the same, right? Something like that. And if they are not willing to do that, maybe you decide to walk away, right? Maybe you decide to, as we see it here, with these two cards, it's like he's turned his back to this, right? Turning his back to a life of fun and drinking and partying and hollow connections, maybe, right? You know, masquerade thing. But he turns his back to that and is now weighing his life differently. That could be something that is coming in for all of us, perhaps, here. That it's time to have a different, conversation. Retreat into nature, solitude, I get from this card. Yeah, well, sometimes when solitude comes up, this is where I feel like we, and retreat and solitude, it's like stepping back from the ordinary life maybe, or stepping back from the connections you may have had or been involved in, stepping back from your usual life. And the solitude is usually a card of seeking something else, seeking a different connection, seeking something that really is important in your life. Here again we have the scales here. Seeking something else, seeking a different balance, seeking something that is worth it, seeking something grounded, perhaps, nature, right? Something with fresh air and fresh wind, and there's a sense of originality here as well, something getting back to the roots, getting back to something that is different. We see her sit here with, I don't know if they are wolves, but the point of this is that you are going back into nature. You connect with something else, right? You don't speak the language of the wolf. They don't speak yours. But still you can connect. How do you connect with them? You connect in a different way, right? This is something about the heart. It's something about the intentions. The animals can feel your intentions. They can smell your fear. It's something like, if you can live among wolves, it's because you have gained their respect, but you also respect them, right? And you connect from a different place than communication. You connect with it's a different way of communicating. The next card out is Love with an Open Heart. This one came up also yesterday. Love with an open heart. There's a need for you could say, to be able to love from an open heart, maybe you need to go into solitude and figure out why you may not have done that, right? As I said here, it's like maybe living a more superficial, hollow life, party life here, perhaps. Turning your back to that, wanting a different balance, that's a good thing. It's nice. Wanting more heart, maybe, in your life, right? Wanting to be able to communicate with more heart here. With what you need. What you need also here, right? But But in order to do so, you need to open your heart. And to open your heart, that can be a challenge for some people. Because it's not normal, or usually there is a masquerade going on. We all somehow wear masks, right? It's not something that is typically done. Going out in the world with a total open heart, that is maybe dangerous even, right? For some people, they may not like it. So you have to figure out who you are. And this is best done in solitude, I want to say. But it can be the feeling of like a lonely journey, perhaps. But this could also talk about maybe you want to talk to someone here about something. And they are in solitude, perhaps. So maybe what you want to say here is towards someone who is in this realm. And in order to talk to someone here, I could even see this as like she is protected. She has guardians here. She could be, like we say, dancing with the wolves. She could be she could be like a shaman or something. She could be someone who has been living in this environment for a period of time. She knows how to survive here somehow. And you want to come in and say something to them. But then I want to say, if you want to say something, it has to come from the heart. You have to open your heart if you want to talk to someone like this, I think. There's something about her eyes here. I get almost a feeling she can see your heart. If this is someone you want to talk to, I want to say you should really come from a place of love, otherwise she will see it. Her guides here will tell her also. If you want to come in here and you want to bring something to the table, you have to speak from an open heart. Love within an open heart. If you want to bring something, you do that, but you make sure that it's that. And there's a sense of maybe humility also here, that yeah, that's what I feel like. It's like whoever this is, if this is you or someone else, they are looking for a new beginning. They are like recreating something. Death and rebirth. They are in a process of ending a cycle, I feel like. Ending a cycle and starting a new one. I even see her like she sits here with like this Indian kind of look. and the furry trousers here somehow, or whatever this is, it comes across as, well, I see her as someone who could be living in a cave or in a tent, right? With a campfire and living off the land as it is. And, well, you could say minimalistic, but even more than that. This is more than just, she could be someone who becomes very involved in ecological living, or like a total change in your life, right? She sits here. If these are wolves, I want to say, getting the respect of a wolf pack, that requires something. If these are dogs, you can see she has like loyalty here, right? And this is not stuff, right? She's not interested in stuff, I think. Not really. What's more important is who is around her here. The connectedness here is more important, where the money here is not this. Well, it has value, but I get almost a feeling that this one is, her valuables could be in here, right? It's like, let's have a look here. I feel like I want to read from the book if there's something I'm kind of missing with this one. Take time out for yourself. Leave the daily routine and return refreshed and renewed. This is a painting of non-cultural shamanism. Inside the redwood tree, the shamanka or shaman can retreat in silence and enter the deeper realms of consciousness while feeling totally protected by animal allies. The redwood forest is a silent sanctuary and a great gateway to the inner realms. These ancient tree spirits have lived thousands of years and exude wisdom to the seeker. They were once part of the sunken continent of Lemuria, which is why they are not found anywhere else on Earth. Redwood shamanka. Maybe you choose to seek someone like this out. Maybe you decide to go into a redwood forest and seek silent sanctuary. Maybe you go on some kind of retreat, but it's a retreat that concentrates on solitude. So maybe it's a non-speaking retreat, like a meditative and non-speaking retreat. But I get more the feeling of being alone here, seeking some kind of aloneness. And again, those around her here is loyal, right? They sit by her. They choose her, right? They respect her. They are here with her. So there's something about, I'd rather be alone with animal guides who actually love me, or deities, or you could say guides around you, then I want to be with like partying, hollow relationships, right? I'd rather have loyal animal friends than I want to have illoyal and superficial human friends. To get my point is something like that. And if you have to go into the forest here, what are you going to take with you? You can have a big suitcase here, right? Maybe you only have 5 things or 7 things. What do you put in here? What is the most valuable stuff here for you to take with you? If you decide to live in the wilderness, or, you know, like I want to move to the northern Norway or something, whatever, or I want to go to Australia or something like that, or want to work with animals maybe, and have that life, a prairie life or a ranch life or something like that, a Indian or shamanic life. I want to move to Peru. What am I taking with me then? Could even be something about the choice, right? Do you choose the money in your life, materialism, or do you choose something else? Love with an open heart, right? It's something like let the mask down. And whatever you invest in, trust it, right? Have an open heart and trust it. And if it turns out not to be right for you, you walk away with it, but try to keep your heart open, right? And then I want to say, maybe also with the relation to the previous autumn equinox reading, where I said something like, if we put divine expectation on a romantic partner, that is a lot of responsibility to put on a human being that is never perfect. So maybe if you love with an open heart, you have that in mind, right? That you are not perfect and they are not perfect. Their yin and their yang is not perfect. It can be wounded. It has a story, right? And maybe just realizing that that there's no real reason for keeping up a masquerade about it. Maybe we need to become real so that we can actually do something about it. Meet each other halfway and all this stuff, right? Maybe this talks about finding allies. Maybe you want to find a community with people like you, who are working their way through some of this. But I get the feeling of figuring out what you truly want, you have to do in solitude. This is just your... but it could be someone that you want to reach out to, right? And they may be quite like living in solitude. Maybe they live in nature, well, far away. Maybe they are not living like that in nature, but they just don't communicate much. They have decided maybe to keep their life very private. Right? In that way, solitude. Yeah, something like that. What else can I take here? I'm kind of puzzled by this picture. It's like there is a loyalty thing inside the group here that she has become part of, but it talks about solitude. It's almost like your solitude and the choices you make in solitude automatically brings you closer to some kind of group, to something here, where I feel like you could be a perfect match. The communication here is different than just texting on an iPhone, right, or something. It's different. It's a dynamic that, look at how close he sits here, warmth. He's behind her back. It's like, it's comforting, it's close, it's warm, it's protective. And then also I want to say they are silent, right? They just look at you. There's something about the look. None of them, they are not barking, they're not howling. They don't look aggressive. It's almost like an observer energy, just observing the world. And with Lemuria energy, we talk about like non-warrior, very peaceful, very high vibrational, loving energy. Non-judgmental. They just watch you here. This could talk about becoming an observer of life, not judging it. Or practicing this, I want to say. And when you practice this, the more and more, the better you become at this, the more you get acquainted with people that actually have your back, that actually are your allies, that are like you, or you find your group of where you feel you belong. Yeah, that's what I feel like. But it's all very silent here. It's like an observer, observing the world, but not judging it. That's what I feel like. And that's actually what I feel like Lemuria is for me when I have listened to some of guided meditations with Lemuria. This is exactly what I get. When I did it the first time, I just felt the care, the open, the welcomeness, the non-judgment, the warmth, the care, but also a humility. Like I don't get the feeling they possess much. Like their wealth is in the warmth, right? They are not into like material wealth. At least that was not what my feelings about Lemuria. It's a different thing. And it was a very non-spoken communication when I kind of felt like I reached connection with Lemuria in the meditation. It felt very unspoken, but they looked at me. They looked at me and they didn't judge me, right? It was just like a welcoming home feeling, and they weren't judging me. It was just this peaceful warmth and very I want to say unspoken, soft healing energy I got from them. Yeah, that would make sense, that they would be observers but not judgmental. That's what I get from the card here. That maybe you want to connect with someone here who may be a bit like this, or this is actually feeling very desirable for you. Maybe you would like to connect with this energy somehow through a shaman, maybe, or something like that. That's what I feel like. Step your vibration deeper into love. That would be definitely a connection with this energy. Retreat into nature. There's a connectedness with nature, not taking more than you need, right? Respect nature. There's a balance here, a balance. Something like that. Yeah, that's what I get from the card. But it's a choice, right? It's a choice what you want to do. It's a choice to choose this, of course, but it's also a choice what you take with you. Are you willing to give up your job? Are you willing to give up maybe a lot of like materialistic possessions? Are you willing to sort things out and live differently? I feel like this new moon in Libra is maybe kind of urging us or asking us if we feel like we need another balance in our life. not necessarily all to live like this, but to connect with something quite different than we have done before. This is very different energies. These are like opposites for me. Okay, this is what I have for you for this reading with the new moon in Libra. I hope this helped you somehow. Take what resonates and just leave the rest. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up or a like. Of course, share it with people you know, or well, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and then you will know when I post next time, right? I wish you all very well out there during these powerful times, powerful energetic changes. Yeah, take very good care of yourself. Love and light to you all. Bye bye.